As a director at the Village Economy Indaba,
We are focusing on developing the economy of villages across South Africa. We partner you with an industry expert who's going to teach you the essence of the business of textile and manufacturing. It used to be we battle. Yeah. People saw me through the hole, and they were like, "Nah, this guy is
got some
actually
skills.
doing it." Don't second guess your work. Yes, quality is very important, but don't second guess your work. Once you feel that this is the record that I'm going with, and I like how we've built it together, put it out there.
Welcome to this amazing episode. I'm so excited because I have a man right now that I respect and I know you'll love his story. He is an entrepreneur at the core, a creative, a sound engineer, and he's also the director of the Village Economy Indaba. Mr. Calvin Molokwane. My brother, how are you?
Mr. Khaisa, my good sir.
Are you well, man?
I'm good in yourself.
So amazing to have you here,
Great
man.
stuff.
Really love what some of the work that you've done. I know we're going to touch base on that. But if you don't mind, a lot of people may not necessarily know who you are.
Yeah.
So could you just give us a little bit of who is Calvin and some of the things you may be doing at the moment?
Okay. First of all, thank you for having me, my brother. Like you said, I'm Calvin Molokwane. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a son.
Yeah.
I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a son. I'm a creative at heart. I'm a sound engineer. And I'm a learner.
Yeah.
I'm a learner.
Learner of things.
I think every opportunity that you are in, any situation that you're in, is an opportunity to
learn.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. One of the biggest traits of entrepreneurs is your ability to keep learning.
Yeah.
Right. And I love that you said that because I want to touch about, obviously, this podcast is about hearing some of the stories of entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So I know you've actually delved in, and you still are, and as an entrepreneur, different projects that you may be pushing and doing. But take us back. What are some of the things, or let me say, where did actually that entrepreneurial spark happen for you? When do you think it kind of clicked, like, wait a minute, I actually want to go in this thing called entrepreneurship?
Yeah. It's hard to pinpoint it, but I usually say right after graduation. Okay. But even prior to that, in high school, I was one of those guys who would be selling at school. I was in hostel for a large part of my high school life. So in hostel, I used to sell noodles. I used to sell sweets, whatever I could sell to make extra money, But the reason why I say after graduation was that I started believing strongly in ownership.
Nice.
I believe that ownership is very important, specifically as a man, number one. Number two, as a black man. I believe ownership is very important. So which is why entrepreneurship, it doesn't have to be a big conglomerate or anything like that, but own something. That's what I believe. Own something. That's
course. And once you own something, obviously you've got more control, but you also allow yourself to have freedom, time and money freedom. Right?
Yeah.
So of course, every person who's been in business will tell you that they've had failures and they've had winners.
Yeah.
So if you don't mind, maybe talk to us about maybe some of the failures you have had, because I feel like that's important, especially the lessons you learn from them, right? So how did that go? Maybe your first business or your first thing where you started but didn't quite go well?
Yeah. My first real business that I could speak of that failed was I started running a school tech shop in a private school in Rustenburg. I'm not going to say the name. Okay. They don't pay me for marketing. But it was a tech shop that I ran. It didn't even run for a long time. I think it ran probably 3 months. Okay. But from that, what I learned from that was that communication with people. Yeah, because the communication between me and the owner of the school was not great. It was very tense. From that, I learned it's important to be a people's person in business. I learned it's very important to be a people's person from business. And I also learned that try your best to not have a middleman.
Okay.
Yeah,
What
I
do you mean
tried.
by okay? What does that
Because
mean?
at that time, the gentleman who owned the school was outside of the country, and
Okay.
he had placed a middleman to communicate with the staff, anybody who was renting at that time. So
Mm.
this particular gentleman, he kind of had a very negative energy towards me being so young and running the tech shop at that time.
Okay.
So the communication was always between me, him, and then the owner, me, him, and then the owner. And then eventually, when I
Mm.
started communicating directly with the owner, it became that a lot of messages were not sent clearly or were reworded as to,
He interpreted them in a different way
yeah,
that you
because
meant.
one of the things that made it a struggle was payment of rent.
Ooh.
So I would tell the middleman that I'm going to give you X amount by the end of the week. And he would then relay the message that this guy doesn't want to pay. He said he'll pay when
Mm.
he's good and ready. So yeah, middleman as well.
Yeah.
And also, always prepare when you're taking on something. I think there's something in the Bible that says when a man builds a house, is it
Yeah.
not wise to sit down and calculate the budget? Yeah.
100%.
So even from my own accord, one of my mistakes was that I took something on and I wasn't really sure how I'm gonna afford to manage it and watch it
Yeah.
grow, and because every day was a struggle. Yeah,
Mm, I
every
can
day.
imagine.
Yeah, every
Were
day was
you
a
on your
struggle.
own at the time? Were there
Mm.
some other people within the tuck shop, or were you mainly running it?
No, I was mainly running the tech shop.
Okay.
Yeah, I was
And
mainly
selling
running the
it
tech shop.
to the other high school kids as well,
Yeah, I
was
was
it?
selling I was in a school, and I was the main tech shop in the school.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice, man.
yeah. Try
That's
to
what's
sell
up.
chips, samosas,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
sweets, everything you get at a school, high school tech shop.
Food,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
food,
food,
food.
people
Yeah,
like food.
yeah, yeah.
That's
So that
amazing,
was a
man.
struggle, man. But yeah,
Yeah.
I learned a few things from that.
Awesome stuff,
Mm,
man. And obviously, so the tuck shop thing, you mentioned communication,
mm,
middleman, preparedness.
mm.
Maybe some other things. Did you go on to start something else around that age?
Um,
Did you wake
yeah,
up at
around that
the
age, I also started a record label.
Hey,
Yeah.
come on now.
Because I did sound engineering in Pretoria. I did entertainment business and sound engineering in Pretoria.
Nice.
So some of the guys that I was studying with, we started a record label,
Nice.
and it was decent at the time.
Yeah.
It was not particularly to sign artists or anything like that. It was just predominantly to give space for recording, mixing, and mastering for young artists. And what I would say I learned from that is work with the right people. Don't work with your friends. I
Okay.
know that doesn't sound
Interesting. Yeah,
great.
that's an
Yeah, I know
interesting
that
one.
doesn't sound great, but I think work with the right people, the skilled people, the people who actually share the vision, not necessarily the people that you have lunch with. So that's
Mm,
something that I learned, that in the venture that I'm in right now, I can see the difference that I'm working with the right people.
yeah.
We might I have a colleague of mine who likes saying that we might not all be friends, but we all know that we want to progress to a certain goal. So yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
It's interesting you spoke about actually working with artists, having a record label,
Mm.
especially now in South Africa right now. When you look at the landscape right now, things like Amapiano is
Yeah,
very, very
yeah,
big.
yeah, yeah,
Of course, hip hop as well. There are a lot of artists that are trying to branch out.
yeah.
Having been in that space
Mm-hmm.
as somebody who would look for and sign up and work with record artists, what advice would you give? Maybe somebody's watching now and they are thinking they want to go into the music space, right?
Mm.
When this TikTok generation, Instagram generation, what would be maybe some of the tips you'd give for somebody just to go out there and
Yeah,
make it?
yeah. What I would say is, number one, understand the business. A lot of artists approach making music as a fun thing. It's not a fun thing. At the end of the day, that's how you want to put bread on your table.
100%.
So understand the business. And to give a general example, we saw this trending a few months ago, and it's been going on for a while. The thing with
Yeah.
Mapurisa and other artists,
Yeah.
where he deliberately taunts people online, and he says, "Those are my masters." He's
Okay.
actually not wrong.
Yeah.
There's gray lines, but when you know the business, when you know music business, and you know the rules. Now,
Mm,
if you come into my studio and you record in my studio, I do the mixing and mastering. The whole equipment was mine. Now, that song is mine.
Okay.
By virtue of the industry. Okay. Yeah, that song is mine.
So when you do the mixing and you do the mastering, that song belongs
to you. The mixing, the mastering, the sound card was mine. Everything was mine. So that belongs to me. Unless you come into my studio with a pre-signed contract or pre-signed agreement, an MOA or anything like that, a memorandum of understanding 100%. Or anything like that. Unless you come in with something like that, if you're going to record in somebody's studio, you need to be 100% sure that me and this person have that understanding that I'm going to have the masters or I'm going to have the rights to the royalties. If you don't have that understanding, you're going to end up with situations where you recorded your music in somebody's studio, but then that person has the masters to that music. Even though it's your song, your vocals, everything.
Maybe at some point, maybe that song goes viral, then tomorrow they say, hey, that's actually my song.
Yeah.
And they'd actually have a leg up on you because they're the ones who did the mixing and the mastering.
Yeah. And then I would say, as I say, understand the business. If perhaps you can't have an agreement, before you go record the song, go to Samro. Go to Samro and register your song. Once you've registered it, even if you record it in my studio and I claim it, you can say, I've already registered the song in Samro. So it defeats every other thing that you know what I mean? Do. Yeah, but just to answer your question is that know the business, because a lot of people approach music, particularly even like hip hop. I'm a piano as well right now.
Yeah,
they approach it as a fun thing to do. I'm just with my boys. We're recording. We're having fun because we're skilled. You know, but you need to understand the business, because at the end of the day, that's how you want to pay your rent. That's how you want to put food on your table. That's how you want to have growth in your life. So understand the business of entertainment. Even if you're a model, even if you're an actor, that's why we have South African actors who are struggling today, is because to a certain level, I do understand that there are a lot of politics as well in the acting industry of South Africa. But it's because to a certain level, people didn't understand the business in itself before they went into it.
Yeah.
So it's very important to understand the business of it and understand that as an artist, you are a business. You are a company and organization yourself as an artist. Like Casper Nyovest is an organization. You know, so once you're able to understand that and treat yourself as such, you'll go far.
Man, you brought up some really good points there. Definitely understanding the business, knowing the business. I also believe that knowing the business also helps you not to be scammed by someone else.
Yeah.
Right? But I see many times artists, they go up, they blow up, and then they get broke.
Yeah.
And they literally living under a bridge.
Yeah.
Why is that? I mean, I have my thoughts about that, but I'm just interested to hear how is it that somebody with so much skill and talent gets to that point where they do so well, but then they still end up, you know, is it the way they manage their money? No, what, you know?
The way they manage their money is one point, but then the main thing is not, it goes back to what I just said, not understanding the business. If you're an artist and you get signed to a record label, and then they, for instance, they hit you, one of the worst things to agree in the industry is a 360 deal. And
a record label. What is a 360 deal?
Yeah, and then a record label tells you they're giving you a 360 deal with a signing bonus of 250,000 or 150,000. You know, as a person who's been trying to get into the industry, you're gonna be excited for the 150,000. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then you're gonna sign the 360 deal. But the 360 deal then says that the record label is able to make money off of everything that you do. When you go on tour, you share the splits with the record label for the entrance at the door, the venue, everything, the merchandise that you're going to be selling. If I'm an artist and I have a shirt written Calvin and I'm selling it at my performance,
they automatically going to get
something from that. You know?
Is it like a 50 split or?
Most of the time, it's not even a 50 split. It will be.
It's more.
Yeah, it could be more. It will be in the. It differs from every deal that anybody signs. It could be more than 50%, that the record label keeps, and you keep 30, they keep 70. You know, so it's also, like I said, knowing the business. And then when you know the business, you're going to need less management. because you find that somebody has a
Got you.
touring manager, somebody has a general manager who's like the liaison between the record label and the artist, and the decision making between the record label and the artist. So your manager comes, he takes what I'm used to is 20% off the top
Right.
from your signing,
Yeah.
from the deal that you sign, 500K, manager gets 20% off the top. You can't even negotiate it, you can't argue it, you know. And then you're gonna have a touring manager who's gonna say, no, Linma, I want this much. And then you're gonna have your events coordinators and stuff like that you're still gonna need to pay depending on your deal with the record label. Sometimes the record label will look at an artist and say, this is coming off of the proceeds of your album. You sold your first week, maybe made 475,000 or something like that. But then they're telling you that for your tour and everything like that, because of the signing bonus that we gave you, we're gonna take off of the top of your record sales.
Sure.
And then you sold so much, but then
a certain percentage is going to
already
be cut
go into
off
the record label.
Right
That's why
a
lot of artists, new artists who do understand the business, they'll say, okay, we can sign a deal, but it will be a distribution deal. And then I keep my royalties and you only get money from distribution and I pay you back for that distribution, you know? So yeah, the fundamental of it is just knowing the business. Yeah, knowing the business.
And I think especially now with all the, I just feel like there's just so many artists now coming in. So your ability to know and understand the industry and the business and different ways to get your music out there is key. You know what I mean? All right. I don't know. This is a very interesting topic to me, and I know you've been in the record label space. So I'm going to ask one more question that somebody in this space may find valuable. Somebody is literally starting out. They want to go pro as a musician. Let's say it's Amapiano, right? Or let's say they want to rap to Amapiano. Maybe something unique like that.
Yeah.
Hasn't really gone to musical school or anything like that. All they've got is a smartphone. You know, maybe they can produce a few beats here and there. You know what I mean? What are the first 3 things you say he should look to do in order to get him, his brand, his music out there?
Interesting. What are the first 3 things? Firstly, I would say social media. Yeah,
definitely.
Firstly, I think it's the most obvious one, like social media, you know, and all platforms. I think I'll give an example. Even established artists right now, the way that they reach a higher audience. I'll give an example with a local Nasty C when he started his gaming channel. It wasn't just because he wants to show people that he can game. It was a strategic move from him and his team that I love gaming. I'm a gamer. And I know that there is a whole crowd of gamers out there who might not know my music. So what am I going to do? I'm going to start a gaming channel. In that, he's probably gained another 100,000 followers just from that. You know, so number 1, social media, all platforms. Number 2, I would say that don't second guess your work. I know for a fact a lot of artists, when you're starting off, second guess their work. They want to get to a point where they're recording a Kanye West quality before they can say, oh, I'm going to put this out. Yes, quality is very important, but don't second guess your work. Once you feel that this is the record that I'm going with and I like how we've built it together, put it out there. Don't also wait and think, what are people going to say? How is Calvin going to look at me? How is Khaisam going to look at me, or anything like that? Do what you need to do because you love it, you know.
100%.
And then I don't think I have a number 3. I don't
the
think
first 2 are good enough to really get you through.
I don't think I have a number 3. Just, it's going to go back to what I was saying. Know the business. Don't get scammed. This is something that's big in South Africa right now, that a lot of artists just show up as artists. They don't know the business. So the last one is what I've been saying for the past. Just know the business.
All right. So number 1, use social media. Number 2, you mentioned
just don't
doubt your music. Don't doubt yourself. Number 3, know your business. Know your business. Very, very key. All right. So you talked about, I want to transition here a little bit. We talked about, you know, some of the entrepreneurial endeavors that you've gone through, some of the lessons you've learned. But I know you actually very big on community work. You know, as a director at the Village Economy Indaba, I know you are really involved in a lot of projects that help the community, right? So I just want to spend some time and shed some light on that. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the work that you've been doing for the community? Just some of the projects that you've actually gone through.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm one of four directors.
Yeah,
Before
yeah,
people think I'm the sole director and I get phone calls.
that's chill. That's
Yeah.
chill.
I'm one of four directors in the Village Economy Indaba now. So just to explain what the Village Economy Indaba is. Village Economy Indaba is a company that we have started that we are focusing on developing the economy of villages across South Africa, not just in the Northwest. We've launched successfully. The first induction of it was the 1st of November, 2024. And we've launched successfully in Northwest, in the Royal Bafokeng Nation, in Tzitzing, let me rather say. And we've also launched in Hakutama in Limpopo. We've also launched in Khayelitsha in the Western Cape, and also in Bothaville in Free State.
Nice.
So essentially, we are looking towards going into these villages, and strategically, so these villages are traditional leadership villages. So the aim is to go into these villages and find SMMEs in these villages, and then partner them with industry experts. If you're somebody in the textile, you do sewing or anything like that, we partner you with an industry expert who's going to teach you the essence of the business of textile and manufacturing. And then the long run of it is that we don't just want to incubate these businesses and let them run on their own. So we've started with a 12-month program for these businesses. And at the end of the 12 months, we're going to use our network. As I said, I'm one of four. So we use our network to then get contracts for these businesses. For instance, I'm going to stick to the example that I was giving for textile. If you are in the textile industry, we then going to communicate with one of the mines to say, get this person a vendor number to then supply PPE for your mines. Yes, it's not going to be as simple as we speak it right now, but this is something that we've been working on for quite some time. Even to launch it last year, it was something that we've been planning for the past 2 years. But the essence of it, the reason why we call it the Village Economy Indaba is because a lot of the time we hear government, we talk about the NDP 2030, National Development Plan 2030. So in it, the goal is to eradicate unemployment. The goal is to eradicate poverty. And so these things are not going to fall from the sky. These things are not going to fall from the sky. And we can't all go line up at the Department of Labor looking for work. There is no jobs, So if we are able to bring the villages of this country, because a large population of this country are villages, we're not all living in Sandton, and you know what I mean? So if we're able to bring the village economy to play in the GDP of the country, we'll be then eradicating the poverty that we speak of, therefore also creating jobs. I mean, if we're taking a business in the village that has been solely run by the owner of the business, and he or she runs everything, but then we're able to give them the tools that they need to upscale it. Before you know it, they're hiring 4 or 5 people. That is job creation. 100%. That is also skills development. 100%. So yeah, in essence, that's the Village Economy.
Wow, man, that's an amazing initiative. Congratulations again on starting this thing. I didn't even know you only started it sometime last year, right? So that's amazing. You mentioned that you want to work with SMME, small businesses. So what are the attributes you look for in selecting those small businesses?
Right now, we are looking at the manufacturing industry, but the attributes that we are looking for is consistency, mainly consistency, because we know in the youth, of South Africa, as soon as they hear of an opportunity that can help them make money,
They all be
I'm
running.
going quickly into the CIPC. I'm registering a business so that I can have compliance and also be shortlisted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So consistency. We look at how long have you been running the business and how do you run the business? You know, because we don't necessarily want somebody who understands what business management is holistically. You're going to get that from being in the Village Economy Indaba. Your financial literacy and business management and stuff, you're going to get that from us.
Right.
So mainly we're looking at consistency. How consistent are you in your business? For instance, I know that specifically when we speak to like the village, I know that some people run their businesses. Once he or she sells this one product for the day, they're gonna go buy bread because there's no bread at home, you know. But we also want to see that, are you taking some of the money that you're making in the business and reinvesting it into your business to grow the business? That's what I mean when I say consistency.
100%.
You know, so yeah.
So they show that they at least reinvesting and they thinking long term instead of taking all that money to go and buy shoes, for example.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
And so far, how's the program been going? How's the response from the community? Has it been positive?
It's been positive. It's been positive. The program starts in March. It's going to start properly in March. Okay. So now we've just been recruiting SMMEs and also just getting strategic partners into it. There are a few successful strategic partners who have joined the Village Economy Indaba to see it through, you know. So yeah, it's been going well. People are receiving it well. The Minister of Transport and Tourism was at the launch of the Village Economy Indaba, actually, you know, to see it through. Some other heads at the NYDA as well were also there. So people are receiving it very, very well. Positive.
And obviously, you mentioned that it's going to be a 12-month program.
Yes.
So definitely going to stick in from March, and then after the 12 months, you'll start to see some of those SMMEs really starting to spread their wings and fly.
Definitely.
So wow, that's really, really great. And I also know that obviously you've got these SMMEs, right, from all around these different communities. What are some of is it too late for somebody to want to join? Or how can they join, for example? Is it strictly for, let's say you are in Tsiting, but then there's somebody in Kanana who wants to join. Is it strictly for somebody in Tsiting? Like, can somebody from Luga or somebody from another place say, hey, can I raise my hand? What's the process?
No, it's not strictly just for the jurisdiction of where we are sent. No. Anybody can come, but specifically it needs to be a business from the village.
From the village.
Yeah, it needs to match the reason of the organization existing in itself, you know.
100%.
As time goes, definitely, as and when it grows, definitely will then go into CBDs, go into townships, and so forth. But right now, we focused on the village and townships, actually. You know, basically the impoverished communities, you know. Because as I said in the beginning, the aim is to bring these impoverished communities to play in the economy of the country as a whole.
100%. You know? So, which also explains the name, Village
Economy Indaba. Yeah.
So if somebody wants to join, how can they maybe get a hold of you or get a hold of their site, or what would be, if somebody watching this now maybe interested, hey, I'd like to maybe how would they be able to?
They can just go to our website. They can go to the Village Economy Indaba website, or they could go to the Dr. Koketso Rakhudu website. You'll get all the information there. As soon as you go into the Dr. Koketso Rakhudu website, you'll get all the information. Also check it on social media, the Village Economy Indaba on Facebook. Check the Koketso Rakhudu Foundation on Facebook. You'll get all the information that you need there.
Awesome. That's an amazing initiative, Calvin. I really, really commend you guys for doing that. I want to continue on this thread. So again, I know you're passionate about community work. A lot of people watching this are entrepreneurs. And I love that you are building the village economy. You're building the townships. Right? But we do have a challenge in the economy, in the townships and in the village. that I know a lot of people do struggle with having the right mindset, especially in terms of how to actually build a business, right? Obviously, you have your processes and how to select somebody. You mentioned consistency. So, what would you say is some of the things that you would advise a lot of people who are in the townships? There's somebody watching right now who lives in the township. There's somebody watching right now who's in the village, right? And they also starting their businesses. What are some of the I know mindset is a very big thing that they struggle with. You know, that you would advise that would help them to succeed and to go forward. You know what I mean?
Honestly, there's no one direct formula. There's no one direct formula. Everybody has what works for them. But I would honestly say discipline. In the area that you're in, discipline. And it's not simple, because you could start a business right now and you would think that it's going to work, or it will grow, and then it doesn't grow. So I would say that number one, discipline. Number two, understand the area that you're in. You know, if I'm in a village where there's 10 car washes and it's a small village,
Right.
and then I'm starting a car wash,
Ish.
understand
You're
why you
number
don't have
11.
customers. You know what I mean?
You're
Yeah,
number 11
understand
now.
why you don't have customers, you know. And then also try and be original. I think in our black communities, a lot of the time we start businesses based on, oh, Haisang is now selling potatoes and they're selling very well. And he's been selling potatoes for a year. He just bought a polo. I'm selling potatoes now. You know what I mean? Be original. There's a need everywhere. Fill in the gap. There's a need everywhere. If your business can solve the problem of the people that you are around, trust me, it will work.
100%. Love that. So number one, discipline. Number two, understand the area you're in. And number three, be original.
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. All right. My last point on the community work, then I'd like us to transition. I know one thing that you're so passionate about, my brother, is elderly people. Right? I know, and we talked earlier on, and you mentioned about how you love to give back and some of the things you do for them. Can you just tell me about, I think that's key, first of all. I think everybody should always remember how, let me say, how to actually give back to our elders.
Yeah.
So tell me about what is it about from your side that makes you so passionate about elderly people? That you think is important for somebody who's a business person. They're thinking about getting the car. They're thinking about getting the house. That's all they're thinking about. They don't forget. Maybe they're not necessarily thinking about back home. So maybe from your side, something that you see about helping out and something that they may need to see or remember.
I think it's just taking care of people who took care of us when we were kids.
100%.
Truth. I know it's something that somebody has heard somewhere else, but truth be told, it's just about taking care of the people who took care of us when we were children. You know, if I mean, our hearts are all different. If for you that doesn't resonate and you're like, whatever, that's you. But for me personally, it's about taking care of the people that took care of us as kids. I think you are riding off of the back of the conversation we had before. You know, so for me, I can't go by without helping an elderly person, and it comes natural. Sometimes I even question myself because I do it in situations where I'm like, is this even safe to do right now? You know what I mean? So for me, I think it's just about taking care of the elderly. It breaks my heart to ever see an elderly woman, elderly man struggle with anything. And we see it all the time. As I was saying to you earlier, that one of the things that I really, before I leave this earth, if I'm able to start an organization or place a system in place that can help the elderly get the things that they need and not struggle. For instance, an example that I gave you is that many of the times our elderly leave our villages, be it Titing, be it wherever, they leave our villages, Kopokeng, to come to town. They're looking for their SASA grants. Some of them, yes, they can collect their grants locally, but then the shops are far. You know, you go by, you seeing granny walking by with a stick, struggling to get her groceries. Sometimes they get cheated, they get mugged, that type of thing, and these are old people who's barely even walking to get to the grocery store. So yeah, one thing that I was telling you about earlier is that if I can get to a point where we can start a system, which is start an NGO that is just dedicated to helping the elderly get their medication, get their needs, which is food, bread, whatever the case might be. And then it's either let's get the elderly from home and take them to the shops, or get them what they need and take it to their houses. And the problem is, most of the time you get people who develop these systems, but they're profit orientated, which is why I said maybe we could start an NGO like that. If I can see myself starting an NGO like that, where we're getting our Khaisa Mokhales to fund it, our Petris Motsepes to fund it, just to take care of the logistics of whoever the drivers are. They get paid. The cars or motorbikes need to be maintained, and they need fuel. But 100%. Yeah, ideally, I just think let's just help the elderly all the time. Let's just help the elderly. There was a time where I was in a taxi, and there was a lady who was coming from Kahisong in Joburg, coming to Gelot in Rustenburg, and they were in Pukeng. They were lost. And this was at 7:30 in the evening. You understand? Imagine the trauma, the stress of that old lady. And then she was telling me on the journey, so she can't even call somebody to come help her. Can you imagine? This was one case that I experienced. So imagine the number of old people who are going through that. So but anyway, just to wrap up and answer your question.
Cool, man.
Just like helping the elderly, to me, stems from being so close with my grandparents. Number one, they raised me. Number two, I'm still close with them. And I think it's just taking care of the people who took care of me when I couldn't take care of myself. Now that I can take care of myself, let me take care of them, because they can't take care of themselves.
I really want to commend you, man. That's something so beautiful. And for me, why I brought this into the conversation again, a lot of people who watch this are very business oriented. They want to make money, but never forget where you come from. No matter how far you go, don't forget about who raised you, whether it's your parents, your grandparents. And there's that term, corporate social responsibility, where companies do something for the communities. And I wish everybody watching this can remember, just as you said, taking care of those who took care of us. I think that's a big one. I hope everybody watching this, you'll remember that. And then I love your idea of the NGO app. Please push that. There are a lot of people here with money, or you with money. Please, can we sponsor this guy's idea? So you see, we'll see. I bet you. Let's talk again in a few years. Let's see if this idea and it will actually.
Definitely, I believe it will.
I want to transition, man. I want to touch on something very, very interesting. You spoke about being a creative, and I know you've got experience and a passion. You did sound engineering. On your come up, you were a dancer. I know you produced music, and you also were in that space. So tell me a little bit about that, man. How was that? Some of the experiences you had in the creative space. Like, maybe you can tell us about some of the experiences. How did the dancing thing start, for example?
That's weird. It just started, honestly. Sometimes we try and articulate ourselves too much. It just started. Truth be told, it just started, man. It started in grade 8. It started in grade 8. I had just got to Potch Boys. It was my first year in hostel. I've always listened to hip hop. I've always been a big Chris Brown fan.
And he's obviously
and it kind of just started from the people that I was living with in hostel. It just started. I liked it. I'm socially awkward, I think. So I was kind of shy a little bit. You see, when you talk, you remember stuff. I remember there was one time there was a guy from Midrand in hostel. He was a great dancer, man. Hanise, if you're still there, brother, I appreciate you.
Come on to the podcast.
He was a great dancer. And then I used to always hang with him. he would practice. I would like do my little thing in the corner because I was shy,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he was
yeah.
such a great dancer. But anyway, there's one time, this dancing stuff, man. It's funny you'd ask such a question.
Yeah.
This dancing stuff. It used to be we battle.
Yeah, battling. Of course, we used to do it.
Yeah.
I think it's still been done now.
Yeah,
It's just that,
yeah.
it's probably
So
still
it's basically two people challenging
battles.
each other to see who's the best dancer. So he was challenging this one guy, and then the guy's friend was like, "Oh, I want to dance against Calvin." And then I was like, "Nah, I'm not gonna dance, bro. I'm not doing that. Whatever." And then I went into our dorm room. This is hostel. So I went into our dorm room, and the dorm room has an open glass where you can see into the room. So I went in there and I was like, maybe I should dance against this guy. So I was like practicing, and doing this, doing that. And then people saw me through the hole,
window.
and they were like, nah, this guy is
got some
actually
skills.
doing it, And then from there I started taking it seriously.
Oh,
From there I started taking it seriously. And then right before matric, I came back home. I left hostel, and then when I came back to Rustenburg, the dance movement was big here. There were a number of dance crews and stuff like that. So somebody at school was like, "Yo, man, I'm in this dance crew. You wanna join us?" Joined them. Went to a few good competitions in Joburg.
Can you say the name of the dance crew, or do we keep it underground?
I don't know. Should I say the name?
I don't know. I mean, it's up to you, man.
Yeah, it was called Magnetic Field.
Oh, Magnetic Field. Wait a minute. Wasn't there Strictly Hip Hop?
Yeah.
Didn't Magnetic Field go at some point?
They were there.
Oh, snap! Magnetic
Free
Field.
marketing, guys. It's fine.
What?
Yeah, because I think they're still there.
For real?
Yeah, some of the brothers are still there. Yeah.
Oh, that's what's up, man.
But yeah, man, that was that. That was dancing. It was fun at that time. Last time I danced, I think it was 2022 Christmas at church. Yeah, that was the last time.
So the skills are still there. I know the skills are still there.
They're still there.
Yeah. And I love how you talk about how you started and you joined the crew. You were a bit shy, and then you ended up opening up and you joined a crew which actually became quite well known in the spaces.
Yeah.
Tell me how, and for me, I always bring it back to the entrepreneurial business space, right? I always believe that your experiences, you always learn stuff that you take from there and you can use them in business that we can all learn from. So maybe from your side, that dancing experience, you having to push yourself, learn, you having to overcome shyness.
Yeah.
Maybe what would you say are some of the lessons you've learned as a dancer, as somebody who became really good, that you are using today in business, and maybe some of us could also learn from?
Yeah. I think practice, man. And by practice in the entrepreneurial space, I'll give an example with myself. I've failed at a number of businesses, and for me, failing is just practice.
Yeah.
This one failed.
Ooh,
let's see what failed in it, learn from it, go on to the new one, take the things that you learned in that one that failed and practice on the next one, because eventually the right one is going to be there. So just like dance practice, you practice, you miss the move, or you don't do it correctly, or it's not clean enough. You keep practicing.
Business practice.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Practice, we have
business practice. Yeah, like honestly, I've failed a lot, man, and I don't shy away from my failures. I failed a lot. I've started businesses with people who took the idea, ran with it. I see it now; it's doing well. So yeah, you fail and you stand up again. You practice. You do it again. You look over your notes. I have about 5. What are these called? 4 choir books. These big. I have about 5 of them filled with business ideas, filled with business plans that I've proposed to so and so and so and so. Some of them started, stopped. Yeah. So it's a matter of just practice. Yeah,
I love that concept. Just like dance practice, you have business practice.
Yeah.
Everything that you try, if it doesn't necessarily work, it's just another practice.
It's just another practice session. Yeah.
Man, that's dope.
Every door that you knocked at and then it was closed, there was a practice session for the next door. Yeah.
That's what's up, man.
Every 2-minute elevator pitch that you did that didn't get you what you wanted, it was a practice for the following one. I remember just 3 months ago, there's a pitching competition where I was at.
Yeah.
and I messed up my numbers.
Oh,
Yeah.
snap.
I realized that as soon as I got off stage,
Ah,
I was like, the next one, I'm
yo,
gonna,
hook it up,
yeah,
right?
my numbers are gonna be correct. Yeah, I messed up
Damn.
my scaling, the scale that I
Yeah.
was presenting, and the numbers didn't match.
Yeah.
And my presentation had the numbers by the ton. And then what I was
Mm.
speaking about were the numbers per 500 grams. So you could
Oof,
see the
those
numbers were
numbers are.
off,
Oof.
off, off. Yeah.
Yeah, but again, that was your practice
That
session.
was a practice
So
session.
once you review your footage and you're like, okay, I'm gonna work on this. I'm
Yeah.
gonna work on my numbers.
Yeah.
That's so dope, man. Made a note of that. I want to make a quick transition here about leadership.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I know you're a leader in your space,
Mm-hmm.
actually in multiple spaces. Right? You manage teams, you lead teams. I always say, for businesses to be successful, you need four things. Number one, become the best at what you're already doing. Number two, sales. Number three, marketing. Number four, leadership. So I want to hear from you as a leader in your spaces, right? What are some tips that you can give people in business in terms of leading their team, in terms of, because the idea is to get everybody united to one goal, right? So some tips in your space, what some of the things you do that have worked as a leader.
That has worked as a leader. It still catches me off when somebody says, "Kana, you're a leader," even at work.
Yeah.
And even in the different areas that you know me
Yeah,
as a leader as,
yeah.
it still catches me off before I answer that question, because for me, as soon as I got to a leadership space, I was like, "Yeah, do I belong?" I was like, "Do I belong here? What's going on now?" But I soon realized that leadership is not about the title that you have on your
100%.
door or the title that you're holding. Number one, leadership for me and to my understanding is leadership is a empty role that needs to be fulfilled, and anybody can jump into it. It's a duty that needs to be fulfilled. That's what leadership is. It's not about the title, it's not about the status or anything like that. But then to answer your question is that one of the things that I've seen working is leading by example. Like the person who is my leader, my CEO, one thing that I've learned working under his office is that punctuality. I was like, it's funny because I was late today, but punctuality, like one of the things that I learned from him is punctuality. And the reason why I learned punctuality from him is because he doesn't start anything late. If anything,
nice.
even if there's a meeting, and I've seen him do this. There's a meeting with like really we're trying to talk to a CEO of whatever company to come on board. And that meeting, he'll look at me and say, "Calvin, it's 5 past 10. They said the meeting is at 10. At 10 past 10, I'm leaving." 10 past 10, he stands up and leaves. I will sit back and stay because I'm like, no, let's respect the relationship. Let's, you know what I mean? But anyway, lead by example. Number one, lead by example. That's because many a times, especially in the work area, when we are leaders, we tend to delegate. We wanna sit and use people as chess pieces.
Exactly.
That needs to be done. You move here. This needs to be done, which is important to be able to delegate. But if you're not moving at the pace that you want your team to move, they're not going to move at it. If you're the owner of a company and you're always arriving late, bet money your staff is going to arrive late. Facts. If you're the owner of the company and you're always knocking off early, bet money people are going to knock off early because you're the leader, you're doing 100%. And then also make sure that the idea is translated throughout the whole organization. Like even the person who's taking care of coffee, if you're in corporate, make sure that the idea and the main aim of the organization is translated to all the departments in the organization. When the main aim is translated to all the departments of the organization, everything always moves in the direction that the idea, the vision is. Therefore, the goal is accomplished. So, 100%.
Thank you so much, man. I think I love how you talked about leading by example, and that also leadership is basically a space that needs to be filled. Right? When you think about that, then that becomes really, really big. I want to ask you. We're going to transition now towards the last part of the session. One thing I know about you, man, is that you have done public speaking and you are a public speaker. I think this is key. A lot of people who are in business, they're like, no, speaking publicly is not for me. I'll just do the other one. But just tell me, I think that as an entrepreneur, someone in business, being able to influence lots of people, right, is so important. You want them to buy your stuff.
Yeah.
If they put you in front of a stadium, but you don't know how to speak to a lot of people, you're in problems. So public speaking to me is one of those underground skills that I believe a lot of entrepreneurs, particularly because this is who we're talking to, but also it has a lot of benefits. From your space, as somebody who's done public speaking, who does public speaking, what are some tips that you can give someone in terms of to become a better public speaker? Just that you've experienced and you can...
I wouldn't necessarily say tips now, but I'll tell them what I did. Because 3 years ago, I would have never stood in front of like a crowd of like 1,000 people and speak.
Just tell me something, just on that, how did you become from someone who says, I'll never speak in front of people? How did you to today where you literally, I know you mentioned to me that you're going to do a keynote address, I think sometime next week.
Friday,
So where did that thing change to say, okay, I'm ready to do this? Because somebody maybe listening may want to, okay, I want to do public speaking, but hey, So when did it switch for you?
It switched when I was put in a position that it was needed. When I was put in a position where I needed to do it and it was a duty. Calvin, you're gonna now talk here, you need to deliver this.
So was this in your workspace?
Yeah, it was in my workspace. Okay, it was that you're gonna need to do this. And what I can say is that learn it. Don't take it as it's not a natural God-given to anybody. It's not a natural God-given. Maybe a few, but it's not a natural God-given to anybody. It's something that you learn and you consistently practice. Because I took the time to learn from different people. So I'm gonna be talking. I'm gonna like give an example right now, that your cadence, for example, how you're going to pronunciate, your cadence of voice and stuff like that. It's very important. So your cadence doesn't just change over the day or overnight, but as you practice, take the time, practice. Also read. I know it sounds cliche, but read so that you can improve your own vocabulary, So your cadence, your vocabulary. So basically just take the time and learn. And the classes are out there. I didn't pay anybody. I didn't go and pay anybody. The classes are out there on YouTube. There's just that right now the people I watch are running away from me. But the classes are out there on YouTube. There are a number of great public speaking teachers who will help you. And they're so diverse that each tailor for a different character. Whether you think you're an introvert or an extrovert or a nervous person, they give you systems to deal with your nervousness. To give an example, usually, even till this day, it still happens to me, and I know it happens to a lot of speakers. Before you go out onto a podium and you speak, your heart starts racing. You start feeling like, even though you're prepared, your heart starts racing. So one of the people that I watch gave a tip that said, before you go onto the podium, now even if you're in a crowded room, you're sitting front row, just excuse yourself. If you know that, okay, I'm the next speaker, before that speaker finishes or when that speaker goes on, excuse yourself, go to the bathroom or go somewhere where there's not a lot of people, jog on the spot, do 5-10 push-ups. After that, your heart rate is gonna go down because you had all that excitement in you or all that anxiety in you. So now all that activity, jogging on the spot or doing your push-ups, it calms your heart rate. Now you're breathing heavy because you exercised. And once it goes down, it stays down. That anxiousness goes away. So that's a technique that I use, and that comes from learning. I didn't discover it myself, So just learn the public speaking. It's not a skill that anybody's naturally born with. I even believe the biggest public speakers, when I speak of cadence, your Martin Luther King,
yes,
I have a dream.
yeah.
That's his cadence. Na 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 na.
Yeah.
That was his cadence. You know what I mean? Even Nelson Mandela, Barack Obama. That's why people will be like, yeah, Barack Obama sounds like Nelson Mandela. It's because they learned similar cadence. You know, so it's something that you learn.
Yeah. It's a learned skill.
Yeah, it's a learned skill.
I love that.
Yeah.
And even when you spoke, I remember when we started earlier, when I asked you to describe yourself as somebody who loves to learn.
Yeah.
So I think you've just brought it full circle that as entrepreneurs, we need to keep learning because that's how we get new skills.
Definitely.
All right. I'm just going to, this is a question, this is how I usually end off my interviews, which is, Mr. Calvin, if the younger version of yourself, 19-year-old, 20-year-old Calvin, standing right here in front of you, what would you say to him right now to advise him?
To advise him, hey, I'd say a number of things, but let me try and keep it to 2 or 3 points now. Number one, I would say learn discipline. As a teenager, even a young adult, I didn't know what discipline is. And I know to a lot of people it comes simple, and I think it's because it was explained to them what discipline is. For a large part of my life, I thought discipline was having good manners. So first thing that I wouldn't even tell the younger me learn discipline. I would teach them what discipline is. Yeah.
And how would you teach them?
I would explain to them what discipline is, because I feel like, and I'm not leaning on it as a crutch, but I realized growing up that I never understood what discipline is because it was never really explained to me, you know. 100%. And somebody watching might be like, such a dope thing to say, but it's the truth, you know. Because I only realized growing up, as I was getting older, that discipline is actually showing up, even when you don't want to show up, you know. We hear this a lot on TikTok, Instagram, from all the motivational speakers, but it's a fact. You know 100%. What I mean? Discipline is showing up even when you don't feel like showing up. Discipline is knowing that I have a goal to get across to this edge of the table. So every day I need to at least take a step. That's discipline, you know. So one thing I would say is teach them discipline. I wouldn't say learn discipline. I'll teach the younger me discipline. Number two, I'll tell the younger me that do the thing that you want to do. Yeah, that's one definite thing that I'll tell the younger me is do the thing that you want to do. Never mind people, bruh. Never mind people. Do the thing that you want to do, because they're going to talk either way. They're going to look either way. Whether you're doing it, they're going to talk. Whether you're not doing it, they're going to look, you know. So do the thing that you want to do. And then lastly, don't be afraid of being different. Growing up is something that I struggled with. I always felt different, and I would be like, oh, let me blend in so that I'm not different, you know. And then what I learned is that when you're blending in, you're taking away from what is actually making you stand out. 100%. You end up just going with the crowd, you know. So because I would find myself forcing myself into crowds, but even in the middle of a crowd, I would end up being in the corner alone because I forced myself to be here. So naturally I step out of that, you know. So just be yourself. Don't be afraid of being yourself all the time.
Don't be afraid to be different.
Don't be afraid to be different. And yeah, I think those are the things I'll tell younger me. Yeah.
Out of the others, these are the 3 core things you'd say.
Yeah, those are the core things that I would say to myself. And just don't mind the world, man.
Yeah.
Don't mind the world. Yeah. Be you. Don't mind the world. Yeah.
Bro, thank you so much. You really gave us some really good insights.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your story, man. Is there any place that people can find you?
That's actually something that I'm struggling with, but not to lengthen the answer.
Yeah.
Not to lengthen the answer. You can get me on Instagram, which is really not that active. But let's say TikTok. What's my TikTok handle? Vino. VEENHO.
And we'll put all your links on the description as well, so that people may want to follow up with you, ask you certain questions.
Definitely.
All right.
Yeah.
Mr. Calvin,
my good
thank
sir,
you so much for coming with us. Wishing you all the best. Thank you for sharing your story. I really enjoyed having you on the show as well. Everybody, thank you so much for coming through to this episode. My name is Khaisang. I will see you on the next episode.